podcast listeners. This is Ed Franklin with the Ed Franklin No Limits podcast. I appreciate you listening today. Remember, you can always contact me at edfranklin.nolimits@gmail.com. That's edfranklin.nolimits@gmail.com. Which you guys are not contacting me, just to be really honest with you today. In fact, this whole podcast today, not the whole podcast, but part of the beginning of the podcast is going to be me being a little bit more frank today because I'm a little frustrated, and it's going to show. I would imagine that most of you, when I started this podcast, thought I was going to be a little bit rougher because historically I have been, in my eyes, very honest with people, whether they like the honesty or not. I've said things that most people wouldn't say. I don't really, I guess I don't care what people think if I say something that I'm being honest about. Trying not to be rude, but still being direct. And the podcast turned a little bit different than that because I wanted to make it very positive. But there's sometimes, in fact, I just warn you, if you're listening to this podcast in your car today, and you have children around, there's going to be more cuss words definitely in the first part of this podcast. So I'm just warning you. I don't want to insult you by doing that just without letting you know that there could be some F-bombs dropped and things like that. So if you know me, you know that that's how I normally talk. I don't have a problem with it, hearing it or saying it. And anyway, I don't know why I have to justify that, but I just want to let you know, if your kids are in the car, it's probably not a good idea for them to listen to this. So I'm fucking frustrated. So here we go, F-bomb right out of the gates, for a lot of reasons. And I was thinking the other day, when old people get older, or when old people get old, they seem to get grumpy, right? They seem to get irritated, more cynical about things. And I finally know why, because just recently turning 60 and having to deal with society and my past and my I've got a phone call, but never mind. I'll take care of that in a minute. I just feel like our world has just become such a fucking mess, especially in the US. Well, really all over the world. And I think a lot of it has to do with us segregating everybody in groups, right? We're all in groups now. We all have our own agenda, and it's 9 million agendas. We have experts coming out of the walls on everything that they're really not experts at. I mean, I can say I'm an expert in certain things, and I'm not an expert. Experts know everything about their field. I do not know everything that I talk about, but I'm learning, and I want to learn. And I think if you can admit that to yourself and try to grow, I think it's a better idea. So I know I'm getting frustrated talking about it because just the idea that I used to seemed to be really relevant in the business world in an area. People needed things from me. I was in a position where I could help people a lot of times. And as I move forward in my life and I trying to get them to reciprocate, I'm not getting a lot of good feedback from those people. They seem to disappear. I said to my wife the other day, did I die? And no one told me, because I'm contacting people. They're just ignoring me. I'm not asking for anything, out of the ordinary, just maybe connections and things like that, which I used to give and still give on a regular basis. Anytime I get a chance to help somebody, I will. I mean, I built a fence a couple of weeks ago for a friend of mine, or helped him build a fence. I've helped people move in the past. I've helped them clean. I've helped them do whatever, have parties. When I was running nonprofits, I was, going out there and putting hours and hours and hours of work into things for those people to succeed. And now I can't get them to reciprocate. And it's frustrating. I grew up with kind of a certain level of ethics, I guess, when it was time to help a neighbor or anything, my dad would just say, come on, we're going to go help, right? And we didn't have to get anything from helping. Right? There was no, if I do this for you, I get this back. There was nothing like that. There was no payment. There was nothing. It was just being neighborly and being friends. I can remember a friend of mine moving 10 or 12 times when we were kids, and we were always expected and directed from our parents to go help, right? The family needed help. We just went to help. I try to do the same with my kids. I try to get them involved with people in the neighborhood, or, if somebody needed help doing something, to do it with no expectation of getting anything back, no payment, no nothing, just being friends. And we seemed to do that more when I was younger. It was just it was the old, hey, I'm moving on Saturday. I'm going to buy pizza and beer. Can you help me? Of course, we'd be there. And I don't seem to get that out of society today. I don't see it in millennials. I don't see it in I don't even know I don't even know what these groups are called anymore. Gen X or Gen P or whatever. I guess I'm a baby boomer. I don't even know what group I belong to. I don't want to belong to a group. I just want to live, and I want to exercise, and I want to do good things for people and my grandkids and my kids, and I just want to be out there helping and putting in my 2 cents. And it seemed like we used to do more of that. We've segregated ourselves so much now. We have every athlete has to have a prefix to their athleticism, whether it's their race or gender or whatever. Every CEO has to have a prefix, whether it's a woman-owned business or this business or that business. When I see or meet a CEO, whether they're a man or a woman, they're just a CEO to me. They're just as important as the next person. There's no separation. We need to get back to not being separated. We have human rights. We don't need all these other fucking rights for each group out there, right? They're no difference. It's treating people like you want to be treated. I don't know where it happened in America, where we're so segregated now. As tragic as 9/11 was, and as heart-wrenching, and for these families that they lost life and they were injured and they're dying early because of dust, and these firemen and all these guys, something happened after 9/11, and it didn't last long enough. We started having more respect for, firemen and policemen and for our military and for these poor people's families. We had respect for them. We donated money. We were going out there and helping each other. We were united, and it had been a long time, and it's been a long time since we've been united. The last 10 years of politics have been a train wreck. The last 15 years of politics have been a train wreck. And it almost seems like all these diversions are just for us to take our eye off the ball. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. But something's going on where it's the shell game, right? It's, what are we going to hear? Here we just went through 2 years of this pandemic, which was horrible for businesses, me personally. A lot of people had a hard time with this. And now we're in this economy where we're paying $6 a gallon for gas. But what the fuck happened? I mean, it's like we're waking up out of this nightmare. And me, having just turned 60 and being cynical apparently now, and being old and grumpy, it really irritates me. It's not the America that I grew up in. It's not the neighborhoods I grew up in. Like I said, the people that I'm going back to that I really truly need some help from these people are just ignoring me because I can't help them. I don't know what the hell, I helped them as much as I could. Anytime they called, I was there for them. And now I can't seem to get them to reciprocate. So the one thing I really hate is whining and making excuses, but here I'm doing it publicly, and it irritates me. It irritates me that I even have to talk about this. I watch on my Facebook feed a lot of times these First Amendment guys come up where they're just harassing police officers. The guy's trying to get an ID from them. I don't have to give you an ID. I haven't committed a crime. And I get that maybe sometimes the police or the government want too much information. But I think mostly they're just trying to protect and do their job. It is suspicious when people are taking, video of a government facility or a defense contractor or something. It's suspicious. I know it's legal to do, but I mean, they're just trying to do their job. It's just irritated. It irritates me on Facebook that I try to post everything on Facebook I try to do is positive, right? I do positive memes. I do stuff about my family, my wife, my kids. I was at the beach yesterday. I took a picture of myself at the beach. Just want negativity. Just want people to be happy. But then I get a guy or girl that'll complain that they're being, the government wants too much information, and they're on a phone, it's a GPS in their hand, and they're wondering why the U.S. or why they're being tracked. They're not being. No one's tracking you, and unless you've done something that's illegal, and maybe you should be tracked, right? God, these school shootings and all this stuff that's gone on in the last 10 or 15 years. It's just not the America I grew up with, and I'm frustrated with looking for work. I'm frustrated with so many things after all these years of knowledge that I've gained, all these years of experience, and I have no value to a company, it seems like. And I always talk about how much value you have, intrinsic value you have in the world, that you were even born. 1 in 400 trillion is the odds that you were even born. And you do have value, and I do have value. But we're sure getting treated like we're not, they don't have any value. One of the things I've talked a lot about is how important it is for you to be taking care of yourself, for you to be doing things, to be a little selfish once in a while. Take the morning to do some meditation, hydrate, whatever you have to do, exercise, so you can be better at taking care of those people that you're nurturing, that you're taking care of. And with so many experts and so many weight loss people and weight loss pills and all these ways to exercise and all these ways to do business and all these ways to make money, the only people making money in those situations are the people that are selling it to us. And we go out and trust them with our money, give it to them, and then nothing happens. I know this is nuts that I'm this frustrated right now, but I've always told you I'll be vulnerable on this podcast, and I will be. I'll continue to do that. I need to figure out my own way. I understand that, but I'm frustrated right now, and I want to. I need some traction. I need some help. I need you to share this podcast. I need you to, get me guests if you have a guest that you think would be good on here. I need those things from you. So I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you to help me grow this podcast. I think I have value to the world, and I think I have knowledge and experience that I can share with you, especially younger people, to help you get through. You're not out of the woods with troubles in your life, but believe me, you're not out of the woods. It's inevitable that when I'm talking to somebody, a CEO or a grocery clerk or whoever I'm talking to, for some reason, people like to tell me things about their life. And I enjoy that. And usually it's not great stuff about their life. Usually it's a challenge that they're having, or a limitation that they cannot get over. They don't feel like they can get over. And I love that they do that for me. I love that they bleed out to me, I guess, at some level. And I want to help those people. It just proves to me that the niche that I'm trying to, develop to helping individuals, whether they're a CEO or a grocery clerk, is needed so badly. We're in such a low area as far as self-esteem in this fucking U.S. right now. And what's going on? And if you don't belong to this group, then you suck. If you don't belong to this group, then you suck. You got to be yourself. I just read a LinkedIn post where a gal was talking about a cross that she wears around her neck every time she takes a picture. And people have questioned about her. Why are you wearing that cross in a headshot? Because that's her thing. That's who she is. We don't have to criticize everything. Every time somebody does something, we don't have to criticize it. I saw another post the other day on Facebook where a gal had tattoos. And she did her headshot for business, and they had tattoos, and she was criticized for that. You're setting a bad example as an HR person. Do you think those tattoos make her a different person, a bad person, or a piercing or something like that? Tattoos. I have a lot of tattoos. Doesn't change me. In fact, if anything, it makes me a better person because I can be myself. It's what I wanted to do. You don't need to do it. But why are we constantly criticizing each other? Constantly. We have got to start loving each other again and get the U.S. back in shape. I said the last 15 years of politics have been a train wreck. We have people in positions of power that should not be in positions of power. We have the weakest leaders that we've had in 40 years, as far as I'm concerned. And we need to do something about this. We sit and just fucking complain on Facebook all the time. We need to get out there and start being better leaders ourselves. And we had us talk about heroes before. for. We need to not look at the government for heroes or athletes. We need to look at our families for heroes. We need to look at our grandparents or our kids or our spouses. Those are our heroes in life. Those are the people we should be looking at. Those are the people we should be emulating. You know, these single moms out there killing themselves to take care of these kids because they had a weak father in the situation, or the father unfortunately has passed, or you know, and there's dads out there too. Believe me, I was a single dad. There's women that aren't setting the world on fire either. We have to be looking to those people and helping those people and encouraging those people and helping their kids and watching their kids and making sure that they're safe when we're out there. We got to get back to the sense of community. You know, we've lived in this neighborhood now for almost 2 years. We've talked to 2 people in this neighborhood. Everybody is just such shut in, and probably partly because of COVID, but we're just not communicating. We used to walk the stores and smile at each other. Everybody's so fucking grumpy now. We can't even talk to anybody in the store. They think we want something from them instead of just being kind. We need to start getting back to basics. And that's what I'm talking about in your life. You need to get back to basics and start taking care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else. I've used this analogy a million times. It's the oxygen mask that comes down out of the roof in a plane, out of the ceiling. It's putting that on before you can take care of your kids or your spouse or anybody else. So many times I see mothers, especially, they seem to be the ones that just do everything for their kids, everything for their spouse, everything for their community, and they're not taking care of themselves. They can't be operating at a high level like that. And, you know, God expects us, and I know if I said God, I could lose people just saying that. In my opinion, God expects us to be the best version of ourselves. We need to be at our heightened responsibility. We need to be a heightened awareness of what we're doing in our own lives, right? COVID was hard on me. It's hard right now. I'm having a hard time dealing with, you know, not being wanted, I guess, in the professional world. Having a hard time not being relevant. I'm having a hard time people not seeing my value, a value that I could share with them. I mean, I'm loyal to a fault with companies when I work for them, and I don't get that. It's not reciprocated. So anyway, let's change the subject. I'm sorry for doing that. I just feel like we all need to have a sense of urgency, and that sense of urgency is across a lot of lines. It's across what we're doing in America. It's across these groups I'm talking about. We need to stop segregating ourselves. We have human rights in America. People died for our human rights in America, and now we want to segregate everybody out. This gender shit that's going on. And this is my person being old, and I don't care about politically correctness. There's 2 genders. Okay? If you want to identify as a pickle, I give fucking 2 shits. I don't even care. If that's what you think you are and that's what you want to be, that's fine with me. But don't tell me that you're a pickle. Okay, you're a man or a woman, and whatever. I'm not going to get any further into that. You know, you have a value in this life, and I want you to understand that you have a value, no matter what you do or who you are or what you look like. You all have a value, and you all have a value to your friends, your kids, your parents, your siblings, whoever. Stop segregating yourself out. Just be you and be the person you are. I don't need to know. Okay. I don't need to know. No one needs to know. Nobody wants to know, by the way. They just want to love you and communicate with you and work with you or whatever. Okay. Doesn't matter. We're putting too much emphasis on how we feel. There's a comedian, Jim Jeffries, that talks about being offended. I guess I must have been offended in my life at some point. Don't give a shit. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. I can forget about it in 2 seconds. You really can't offend me because I don't fucking care what you think. Now, I don't mean to be so mean, and so if I have tattoos, if you don't like the tattoo, that's okay. Don't get tattoos then. But don't criticize me for having them, or criticize me because I wear a hat all the time. I don't wear a hat because I'm losing my hair. I wear a hat because I've been wearing a hat since I was 10. You know, but it didn't matter if I want to hide my head, I'll hide my head. That's up to me. Doesn't matter to you. If it offends you, you shouldn't be offended. I won't apologize or anything. I get tired of these athletes, especially. Or comedians, they'll say something, they got to go back and apologize. They're fucking comedians. They're supposed to be funny. There's funny things in life. There's different races have funny things about them. It's okay. We don't have to get so hurt all the time. Stop being offended. It doesn't do anything. If you don't like a certain radio station because it offends, don't listen to the radio station. If Jeff Bezos' wealth offends you, don't buy anything from Amazon. You know, I don't know why we have to, everybody has to be okay. You know, be okay with yourself. Work out, do whatever exercise you want. If you don't like the gym, don't go to the gym, go walking. If you want to be 700 pounds, keep eating Twinkies. I mean, that's up to you. But if you want to be the person I know you want to be, then you're going to have to make some changes. First change is stop getting offended. So anyway, that's too much on that. And man, I could get so much worse, but I won't. I want to talk about the lottery. This is going to end on a good note. A couple of weeks ago or last week, we had a lottery, got up to $1.2 billion. As that thing was climbing since April, I was watching it, right? And I'm buying a lottery ticket. And I'm dreaming, I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep going, man, if I had that money, I could do this and I could do that and I'd have this car. And while I'm doing that, then the lottery would come and I wouldn't win, then I'd get disappointed. 1 in 350 million chance I'm disappointed, right? Like I was the chosen one. And so nobody won since like April 30th until last week, and one ticket was sold. They ended up with like $400 million after taxes and everything, which I could use, by the way. I could get by on the 433 million that they got. But here I'm sitting there thinking one day, and I'm like, man, what an asshole I am. I mean, here I am laying in this really comfortable bed with the roof over my head in this really nice house with this beautiful woman next to me, with 2 grandkids that live with me and 13 other grandkids that I have access to that are carrying my lineage, with 8 beautiful children, too many friends to mention that don't all get back to me, by the way, but we already did that. Family members. I live in San Diego, probably the best climate in the world. Refrigerator's full. I'm overweight still because I eat too much, and I have that option to eat too much. A third of the world is starving and has no good water. A third of the world is dying of injustice. And a third of the world is dying from overeating. And I have the audacity, to lay in bed and be disappointed because I didn't win a lottery, because I don't have any money. I drive a brand new car, just about brand new. My wife has a brand new car, just about brand new. I have too many things in my garage that I don't use that are worth money. I'm on this podcast with a new camera, lights, 3 computer screens in front of me, a laptop, and another computer screen next to me. And I have the audacity, like I said, to want more, right? Or to want the bonus round, to want the whole thing. I don't do enough in my community to help people. I'm arrogant as shit most of the time. I don't ever show you that here because that's not, no one would buy that platform, right? But I am. I'm arrogant. I'm a snob sometimes. No doubt in my mind. It irritates me because I don't want to be like that all the time. But then people irritate me. I said those people. Isn't that just that statement was the worst thing I could say? People, I should say, just people irritate me sometimes, the way they act. I see. I mean, what an asshole for me to sit there and be disappointed because I didn't win the lottery and I have this fucking wonderful life, right? I don't have the job I want. I can find that. I can create that. I have all the tools. I have everything I need to be successful, and I'm bitching about not winning the lottery. So when you start thinking about those things in your life, here, like I said, we're in America. We're in San Diego County. If you live here, and you're complaining about what you don't have, we need to rethink what we're doing. So as much of a a tyrant I sounded like in the beginning of this podcast, I'm kind of bringing it around going, you know what? The problem is not out there. The problem is in my heart. The problem is in my head. The problem is in me not being disciplined enough to have a plan that I stick to, because everybody needs that. Everybody needs goals. I'm not saying you shouldn't want more. It's up to you. We shouldn't want more for free. We should want more if we're going to put the work in, if we're going to be creative, if we're going to do all those things we want to do. We need to be the ones being responsible for it. It gets back to that selfish piece, right? Where we need to be taking care of our health, ourselves, eating the right things. I get these recipes on TikTok, and every one of them's got 10 fucking thousand calories in it. And man, I want it, right? That's what I want to eat. Or, I'd rather have a vodka and seltzer than I would, water, right? I don't drink enough water. None of you drink enough water, by the way. You should start drinking more of that. Statistically, when you hit 60, your water intake goes down like 37%, which is fucking the worst thing you could do. And here I'm bitching about, not hitting the lottery, not being the 1 in 350 million person that hits that lottery. So I guess on a good note, or on a positive note, we should be looking in the mirror in the morning and not just fixing our makeup or our nose hairs or whatever. We should be looking in the mirror and asking what we're going to do today that's going to move us forward, who we're going to be with to move us forward. If you have friends that you used to help and now you're asking them for help and they're not answering you or helping you, you need new friends. And like I said, I have a lot of good friends. I could probably lessen those a little bit because I don't feel like, and they could, maybe they don't want to help me because of what I just told you, that I'm an arrogant prick sometimes. I don't know. And I'm not self-damning myself here. I'm just telling you the reality is that from what I've grown through in my life and what I've gone through, but I've come to a point in my life where I am those things sometimes that I should not be. I'm still willing to help anybody I can. But I think sometimes my attitude, I need to have, better things on my mind when I'm, dealing with the public or dealing with people. So that's a little self-realization thing for you maybe to think about tonight when you're laying in bed before you go to sleep. Are you doing the things that are moving you forward, or are you doing things that are holding you back? Do you have that love in your mind and your heart, or do you have that selfishness like I get sometimes? And by the way, whether you're religious or not, these things we all knew these, right? There's 7 deadly sins. And I think I'm doing 9 of them. But at times I think that, right? Maybe we need to be reevaluating ourselves, not so much looking at other people or blaming other people for what's going on. And I'm a big advocate of not doing that. It's hard, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking hard not to be an asshole sometimes. And you people that know me that are listening to this, you're like, you've always been an asshole, Ed, so what does it matter? But I also love those people for that and for being honest, and I don't always love myself, and we need to do more of that too. So I guess on the note to leave you with is that there's a few things you guys need to do. Don't turn 60. Just kidding. Turn 60. Don't be grumpy. Let's say it that way. Look for the light in people and not the darkness, not what irritates you. Look at the goods in people. And I'm good at that. I'm good at looking for good in people and trying to draw that out. But at the same time, I can also be that fucking jerk that just, doesn't think much of people sometimes. And that's not right. It's wrong. And, but, just like you, I'm struggling in life. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. And I'm just telling you that, yeah, I'm just trying to be as vulnerable as I can with you, and at the same time, let you know that I'm just trying to work as hard as you can to be that person. So, again, I love all of you. I really do. Deep down in my heart, I do. And I want to help you. And if you have anybody that would like to be a guest on my show, or this could be my last podcast, just because of what I talked about today. I'm just kidding. It won't be my last podcast, but I think there'd be certain people that listen to this and might not listen again. But that's just the way it is. I'm not going to change for people, and I'm not going to apologize, and I'm not going to adjust. I just want to be honest with you, and I want you to keep listening. I want you to share this as much as you can. Hopefully you took some humor out of this, but I was being honest. And sometimes, like I said, I'm not perfect by any means. Not once in a while. I'm never perfect. So I just wanted to reach out to you. So anyway, edfranklin.nolimits@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Please share my podcast if you get an opportunity, and come back soon. I'll get back to my positive message on a regular basis. The problem with that positive message on a regular basis is it's not real, right? We're not always in perfect mode. We're not always happy. We're not always, we're not always moving ourselves forward. Sometimes we're taking sometimes we take a step forward and 2 steps back, and that just is life, right? But as long as we're trying to be better people and recognizing what we're doing wrong or what we're doing that's not helping us move forward, then we're doing really good, right? Remember, you have value in the world. Go out and give that value to the world. Be that light, not the darkness. edfranklin.nolimits@gmail.com. Contact me if you'd like to be a guest. Contact me if you have a guest that would be good on my show, and contact me if you have a topic you'd like to talk about. If I can't talk about it, I've learned a lot of shit in my life, man. You got to figure that I've dealt with it. I'd love to tell more stories on here, but the people that I tell stories about, I don't want to expose them or embarrass them or anything like that. And I can't even adjust some of the stories, like take that person out of the story. So I don't want to do that. But if you have a topic you want me to talk, I'll research it. I'll find out as much as I can. Try to find an expert that, remember the expert thing, or did I say something? There's no experts. I'll try to find somebody that has some knowledge about that topic, and we can get them on here and just talk. So, and maybe give you some enlightenment. Anyway, Ed Franklin, No Limits Podcast. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Share my podcast, and we hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.